Everyone, Voodoo here. It's been a little while since we've done an Augmentation Evoker video on my channel, and some things have changed since then, so I figured I'd come through and give you guys an updated look on Augmentation Evoker on the 10.1.5 PTR. Now, before we get into what's new and what's changed, a few things. One, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button. Hitting the like button is the best and easiest way to support content creators you like. So it's a good way just on any content creator you enjoy watching. Scroll down, hit the like button, click watch on the video. It's free, it's easy, and it helps, really helps grow the channel. Second thing, I will be doing an Augmentation Evoker guide once everything is out on 10.1.5 on the official release and everything like that. So if you want to see that, consider hitting the subscribe button. That also really helps me out. We just passed 6,000 subscribers, which is a crazy milestone. And I want to just thank you all so much. So that out of the way, let's get into it. So there's a few things that have changed since the last time we've been here. So one is that there's actual theory crafting and stuff now, which is pretty cool. So this is kind of the thought to be best raid build. Now a few talents have changed around. A few talents have changed places here. There's been some tuning, but notable new things. We have Plot the Future, which is a brand new talent. Breath of Eons gives you basically Lust for 15 seconds. Breath of Eons is your cooldown. There's the healing stuff on this side here, which we'll touch on later. And then there's been some more kind of theory crafting and learning how the buffs work. So we know now that Ebon Might will prio Prescience targets. It prios DPS. We know that your Mastery, which is like a verse gain. Look here, casting empowered spell grants shifting stance to one ally, preferring damage dealers, increasing their verse. We know that will prefer people with Ebon Might on them. A DPS with Ebon Might without Sands, and then anybody with Ebon Might without Sands. So we know a little bit of prio there. That's pretty big. There's also been some changes to Ebon Might itself. So instead of giving you 20% increased damage to Eruption, it now just gives you 10% increased damage. Oh, sorry, 14% increased damage just in general. So that's pretty strong. It works out to be a few DPS increase. Most of your damage is still going to be from buffs. And when you use those buffs, you are the strongest DPS in the game if you give it to people that can make the most use out of it. Obviously, your mileage may vary. There's been some nerfs to Mastery too coming in. Mastery used to be incredibly busted. It's still incredibly busted. You want to stack Mastery so far into the DR, it's not even funny, like 30%, and then start grabbing other stuff. And they've also reduced the uptime of Ebon Might, so it's a little bit harder to maintain this at maximum uptime. You can see here 12 seconds. Eruption gives 1 second. This gives 5. This gives, I think, 2, and Fire Breath also gives 2. So it is harder to do full uptime. But it's still there. So there's 2 builds right now. There's this build here. Now again, if you want to go over all the talents and everything, I have a different video from a while ago if you want to check that out. Also, I'll probably link the Evoker Discord for those of you who want to check that out. Shout out to them. Shout out specifically to Sailder. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. But they have done most of the Evoker theory crafting. There's a few others as well, but they seem to be the primary person. So shout out to them. Obviously, the stuff they've done helped me make this video. So right now we have 2 builds we're looking at. So this is the DPS build. This, again, you're a DPS. This is probably the one you're going to want to do the most. There's a few flex points, of course. You can flex this point to something else. If you need Wearing Stones, you can grab Wearing Stones. If you want to do Timelessness, which is like a threat loss thing, you can do that. If you want to do Geomancy, I don't know why you would, but you can. If you need to grab Inner Radiance, if you need to grab Pupil of Alexstrasza, you can do that. Bit of a flex point there. And then basically that's about it. There's a few other flex points. You could drop like Ignition Rush. You could drop Stretch Time or Spatial Paradox, but I believe this one's probably your biggest flex point. But let's go down here and grab everything. This is the DPS build. You'll be playing most for DPS. Requires you pushing Prescience on cooldown. Gives you Essence Verse. It's really powerful. Fate. It's just a strong buff. Use Time Skip to get your cooldowns back and just keeping up your Ebon Might debuff. Then the other one is kind of the healing based build. This build is a little interesting, so you can't really replace a healer with it. Basically what you end up doing is still doing some DPS. I think you lose like 7k DPS, but you gain roughly 32,000 HPS, which is not a full healer by any means. But if on a certain fight you can drop a healer by going this build, you still bring a lot of damage. And you can do healing. Maybe this will let you 3 heal a fight and grab an extra DPS instead of 4 healing otherwise, right? So there's that bit of interplay there where you're not really, maybe you can drop a DPS or so. This one is a little interesting. So basically, Symbiotic Bloom causes Emerald Blossom to increase target's healing by 6% for 12 seconds, and that can be extended by all your buffs. They extend that as well. And then down here we have Dream of Spring. So it no longer has a cooldown. It deals 35% increased healing and increases the duration of your active Ebon Might by 1 second, but it costs 3 essence. So basically what ends up happening here is you use your essence bursts on Emerald Blossom, and it just gives a healing increase, gives some nice healing. You pick up all the healing talents over here, more health, heals you, 2 additional allies, increase your healing done. So it's a nice little healing build there. Now again, you are still DPS, keep that in mind. So at the end of the day, you will end up having to do damage. You can't just drop can't just 2 heal or 0 heal and then plus. I don't think it'll work very well. But if, let's say, there's a 4-hero fight where the 4th healer isn't doing a lot, you might be able to drop down to 3 healers, pick up an extra DPS, and have Evoker go over to green. So that out of the way, let's go into some of the gameplay differences that have come up since the last time. So we'll swap over to a dummy now, and I'll talk about some of the things that are going on right now with augmentations, rotation, and stuff like that. Alright, so here we go with a bit of gameplay. Now again, I'm not the most versed Augmentation Evoker. I'm trying my best, so I might fudge a few things up here or there. But again, shout out to Sailor and people from the Evoker Discord for help with this. So Evoker actually has a pretty long pre-pull. You want to actually do Prescience twice. So Prescience, and you want to use Blistering Scales, and then you got to wait for Prescience to come back. So you will need a bit of a pull timer, probably about 15 seconds or something like that, just to get everything. We'll hit another Prescience. We'll go into Ebon Might, we'll hit a Tip the Scales, and then we'll Lust, throw at this, and then we're honestly just kind of blasting. We put both of our things on CD, Time Skip, we can go with Ebon Breath, and then we're just trying to extend this as much as possible using your Prescience on CD, and you should be max extending Fire Breath. Sorry, I'm a little used to Devoker still, where you're min extending Fire Breath. Bit of a my bad on that one. But max extending that, using Prescience on CD. It's honestly pretty simple rotation. And then at this point, we don't really have anything else, so we'll just Living Flame. And we'll rebuff with Ebon Might, and we just go again. And we just kind of extend. Whenever you don't have anything to push, you can throw in an Emerald Blossom. That just makes your Living Flame better. But really not too hard of a rotation. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to keep track of. At this point here, I'm kind of out of everything. So we're about to run out of our buff, so our buff is running out here. So now we just kind of hold everything. We just kind of wait till it's back off CD. I'll move out a bit so you guys can see. But really, not that hard of a rotation. Pretty simple to do. Most of the rotations, complexities, are going to come down to, positional awareness and stuff like that. Who you've given Prescience to. Who's getting your buff. Are you max extending Fire Breath? Who's standing near you? Who's getting buffed? So there's definitely some things to make the rotation pretty fun and interesting. Why am I not targeting the training dummy? But it's not hard, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say it's hard by any means. Obviously I had beans to start. You should be doing Breath of Eons before Time Skip. I don't know why I waited there. The thing with Breath of Eons, it's 2-minute cooldown, and you accumulate damage dealt to a target. So you want to use it when other people have CDs. You don't want to use it. This will make it less than 2 minutes, basically, so you don't want to use it on that. You want to use it every 2-minute cycle, even though we have Time Skip, which is something to keep in mind. But, really, that's about it for complexities. You're basically just making sure you're extending your buff. If you can't extend it, then you just hold all your essence. So here, we might get another extendo. Just barely got an extendo there. Probably could have held there and been okay. But we're almost into a bigger opener here. So once this comes up, we'll probably have another bigger opener. So we will we'll Ebon Might, go in with our breath. We'll Tip the Scales, max rank, explode that. Throw out some eruptions. Throw out upheaval, and then just slam with more eruptions. You can see that this one I have almost max uptime of the buff here. So really not too complex. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Now I don't have details. Details also doesn't work with all the buffs yet. Warcraft Logs does though, so that's important to keep in mind. But nothing else does. But you do a lot of damage as the Evoker. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fulfilling. Just a little simple rotation. You go around, you get your Ebon Might out. You will rank up Fire Breath, min rank Upheaval, hit a Time Skip, so we can maybe even do it again. and just extend your things, and that's about it. Like, it's not hard. You see here, I'm just kind of pushing my buttons to come up. We get a double fire breath in this one. Crazy. Honestly, I'll probably have a might again here to get more upheaval. Like, it's not hard. Now, I think there's a downside where most of your damage is going to come from your buffs, which means that you can just kind of AFK and do like 80% DPS. Now, obviously, I don't recommend doing that, but you can do that, and I think that's certainly one of the downsides of the class. I don't think they're going to change that. It's just probably how the spec's going to be. But it is interesting to keep in mind, like, to think of. But, like, again here, not too hard of a rotation. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. All about buffing your allies, doing like little utility stuff, and it's pretty cool, honestly, in my opinion. So there you have it. That's kind of an updated look at Augmentation Evoker. Obviously, I have no UI or anything on the PTR right now, so, you know, here's what it is. But Evoker is pretty fun. It's pretty engaging. Obviously, I have beans a few things in my opener. I did Ebon Breath. I did the Breath of Eons at the wrong time. I didn't max rank my Fire Breath. But the rotation is pretty simple, and you get a lot of damage out of it. And it's kind of fun to buff your allies. I don't know. Might just be me. But, like, seeing somebody with a prescience. Oh yeah, I prescienced the Fire Mage in there. The Fire Mage was like full combusting, and just seeing prescience strike again and giving me a ton of damage from that felt really good. You know, seeing all their like max rank spells and stuff. Mastery is pretty fun to play around with. It's really powerful, which is kind of, you know, whatever, but it is good. Just because it increases all your duration and everything, gives them people verse. Prescience is a cool ability. Getting Lust from your Ebon Breath is cool. Sorry, not Ebon Breath. Breath of Eons is cool. Like Time Skip's a cool ability. You have a cheat death. So there's tons of cool stuff with the Augmentation Evoker. The gameplay isn't too complex, which I think is a good thing. Most of that leaves the complexity to positioning, who's getting your buffs, the best way to buff your allies, things like that. So I do think it's pretty fun. I do think it's pretty good. And I'm looking forward to playing with it, having some fun with it in the upcoming weeks. So that's going to be it for the video today. If you enjoyed it, again, hit a like, drop a comment down below if you're excited for Aug Evoker, and hit the sub button. I'll have probably more Evoker content over the coming weeks. Probably branch out a bit from just Havoc stuff into more Evoker, maybe some other alts I have as well. So if you guys enjoyed this, again, drop a like, hit the sub. If you want to become a channel member, link down below, help support me and get a ton of cool perks. And with that, I will leave you guys today. Looking forward to Aug Evoker. We'll have a ton of cool stuff coming out in the future for them too. And I hope you guys enjoy. So peace out. A big thank you to all of my channel members. 121, Payne, James, Evangel Faraz, Oxclamation, It's Bulk, and Flapjack67. A big thank you to you guys. You guys help make this channel what it is and help to support me along every step of the way. If you guys want to become a channel member, support me while also getting some cool perks like emojis in comments and live videos, VOD reviews, exclusive access to the Discord, and help shaping the channel, as well as tons more stuff. And consider becoming a channel member with the link in the description below. Once again, thank you everybody. Now have a great week. Peace.